Play ball, Las Vegas. This is Covering the Bases with the A's. Sponsored by Big Bully Turf.
It is time to talk some A's baseball. Welcome inside another edition of Covering the Bases with the A's. I'm Kevin Bollinger. Let's take a look at what's on deck for the green and gold extravaganza. Shea Langeliers and Nick Kurtz both starting in the 2026 All-Star Game. We're going to hear from both of them. Plus, JT Ginn is playing like an All-Star right now. We have an exclusive interview with the man anchoring the A's rotation. King Korak also joining the show to talk the latest with the green and gold. And Mariah Janos will highlight the young prospects that are representing the A's at the Futures Game. But first, we begin with the A's two brightest stars.
High drive to center. That ball is not coming back over the batter's eye. First pitch, high drive to left. It's a Vegas bomb to tie the game in the first.
Talk about cashing in quickly.
2-2, high drive to right. His second homer of the game, 14-13. This game is absolutely insane.
Lineup.
And Langeliers puts a charge into this. He vaporizes it to left. 0-1, driven to center field. Siri will admire this one off the batter's eye. Sees and mustered up a bit of offense early. And now Langeliers gets it in the air to left. It's traveling back. Langeliers has homered for the 20th time this year.
The two biggest threats in the A's lineup are headed to Philadelphia. First-time All-Star Game appearances for both Shea Langeliers and Nick Kurtz, and they'll be both in the starting lineup for the American League. Shea Langeliers won the fan vote over Alejandro Kirk, and with Vladdy Jr. declining the invitation, Nick Kurtz gets the start at first base, as he was the highest-ranked first baseman on the player ballot. Take a look at the numbers for both of these guys. 20 home runs each. For Langeliers, that is the most among American League catchers. 66 RBI for Nick Kurtz, the Big Amish, leading all first basemen in that category. And for Kurtz, he earns his first career All-Star nod as a starter in the home of his childhood team, the Phillies. Here they are talking about the honor.
Being an All-Star is always something that you dream about doing. Being in a group of some of the best players in the league is a really cool group to be in. For me especially, having it be in Philly is pretty special. It's kind of a full circle moment for me, and being able to be my first All-Star Game appearance being in the hometown is pretty special.
Yeah, I mean, obviously just a true childhood dream, like Nick was saying, come true. To be considered amongst the the best names in the game, and to be able to play a game is really cool.
This marks the second straight season that the A's will have two All-Stars. You may remember last year in Atlanta, where Jacob Wilson became the first fan-elected rookie shortstop to ever start an All-Star game. He was the first A's shortstop to start an All-Star game since Bert Campaneris back in 1974. And of course, we can't forget the awesome moment where Jacob and his father Jack were both mic'd up chatting with each other on the broadcast during the game. Of course, Brent Rooker also made that home run derby special, igniting the American League comeback with a 3-run homer in the 7th before hitting another two home runs in the first ever All-Star Game swing-off. Hopefully some more fireworks coming from the A's bats next week in Philly. The 2026 MLB All-Star Game happening Tuesday at 3:30 Pacific time, and you can watch it right here on Fox 5. Now we need to talk about one of the A's who is playing like an All-Star right of late.
1-2. That is strike three.
He slung him a fastball, that running two-seamer. He hasn't seen a fastball yet in the sequence. Until there, strike three, another dazzling sinker by
Tuesday night in Detroit, another strong outing for JT Ginn before being pulled due to illness ahead of the 5th inning. Here's the numbers on Ginn, who appears to be putting things together in 2026. A 3.10 ERA, that's the lowest on the A's staff among players with at least 4 innings pitched, and 86 strikeouts, also leading the A's pitching staff. Ginn beginning to look like a valuable piece to this A's young roster. And later in the show, I have an exclusive one-on-one interview with Ginn, so stick around for that. On Sunday, the A's played one of the wildest games of the season against the Florida Marlins. We begin in the 7th inning where Marlins pitcher Yuri Perez had a perfect game going. He shut down the A's offense and was enjoying an 8-run lead as he walks off the mound in the 7th. But then the controversy comes in the 8th. Perez taken out of the game with over 90 pitches, but just 6 outs away from a perfect game. And then in comes Lake Bacher, and the first batter he sees draws a walk, so the perfect game bid was over. The next batter, Joshua Kuroda-Grauer, he singles, so the no-hitter is now gone. And the next batter, Carlos Cortez in the dish, double into right. There goes the perfect game, the no-hitter, and the shutout in 3 straight batters. Max Muncy would walk to bring up Mr. Clutch, Jonah Heim, and he goes yard for the grand slam. The Marlins led 8-0 at one point to begin the inning, but, Yuri Perez left that game throwing the perfect game, and the A's all of a sudden were back in it down 8-5. We would go to the 9th with the A's threatening. Heim comes back to the plate. He hits a 2-run single. That would cut the Marlins' lead to 1. 8 runs in 2 innings for the Athletics after not having a base runner through 7. Unfortunately, though, that is where the magic would come to an end for the A's. They would fall 9-8. Mark Kotze after the game saying despite the loss, this is something that the A's can build off of during what's been a really rough patch. Well, now to some other bad news. Last week we learned that Brent Rooker is going to miss the rest of the 2026 season. It has been an injury-filled 2026 for Brent Rooker, and the A's have decided to shut him down for the rest of the year. After getting his left knee bone bruise reevaluated by doctors during rehab, the decision was made to have surgery during the All-Star break at Stanford Medical Center to fix a cartilage tear. Manager Mark Kotze called the loss of Rooker a big blow, losing a bat in the middle of the lineup and, of course, one of the leaders in the clubhouse, although Rooker has said that he will have a presence at the park whenever possible. Rooker is expected to be 100% healthy by spring training. There was some good news on the injury front. Shortstop Jacob Wilson was activated from the 10-day injured list after dealing with right thumb inflammation, and he was back in the starting lineup Tuesday night in Detroit. Wilson brings back a much-needed bat for the A's, who have had some struggles at the plate. With Zach Geloff also returning from injury, this team getting some players back, and Tyler Soderstrom, good news here, also coming back from the 10-day IL. He is going to get back in the lineup before the All-Star break for the Athletics. That news came on Wednesday afternoon. On deck, Ken Korak, the voice of the Athletics, joins me to discuss what's been a rough recent stretch for the A's. Plus, Mariah Janos is highlighting a couple of young A's who will be representing the green and gold during the Futures game in Philadelphia.
And before we head to break, we got some trivia for you. On this date, way back in 1932, the A's won a game against Cleveland, 18-17. It was one of the great regular season games of all time. Their star slugger, Jimmy Fox, knocked in 8 runs. But that's not the all-time single-game A's record. Who does hold that record with 10 RBI in one game? Is it Reggie Jackson, Mark McGwire, Jason Giambi, or the big Amish himself, Nick Kurtz? Find out after the break.
Play ball, Las Vegas. This is Covering the Bases with the A's. Sponsored by Big Bully Turf.
All right, we're back with an answer to this question. Who holds the A's single-game RBI record with 10? It's Reggie Jackson. He did it all the way back in June of '69. Reggie, as he liked to say, was the straw that stirred the drink of the A's dynasty in the early 70s. In his stellar 1973 season, in the middle of that dynasty, he led not just the team, but the entire American League with 117 RBI plus 99 runs scored, 32 homers, and he won the MVP award. And by the way, he also won the first of 2 World Series MVP awards in his Hall of Fame career, leading the A's to their second of 3 consecutive titles.
We're joined now by A's broadcaster Ken Korak. He's been doing it for 30 years with the Athletics. The legendary Ken Korak with us now. Ken, talk about what's happened with this Athletics team since they left Las Vegas. They had 2 great series here in Southern Nevada, and then things seem to have kind of gone south. What happened?
Well, it's been a struggle, Kev. And by the way, it's good to see you and good to be with you. I think without getting it being overly simple with my answer, they've struggled to pitch. And I think it's been well documented that the issues they've had at the ballpark in Sacramento have really hindered their chances to get back into contention. So if you look at the disparity in the ERA, they have one of the best ERAs on the road this year in the American League, and they're last in the league in ERA at home. So again, that's kind of a general way of looking at it, but they really have to pitch better at home.
Well, it doesn't help that they've also had some injuries, especially with some of their big-name offensive guys. Brent Rooker now done for the year, but they're getting Wilson back here now. If this team can get healthy, can this team make one more big run to try and get a wild card spot?
I really think so, because the division and the wild card, everything in the American League right now is, as you know, is muddled. So if you can climb kind of close to 500, the rest of this road trip is really important. But like you said, they got Geloff back, they got Wilson back, Soderstrom is coming back now. So offensively, with the exception of Rooker, they're getting healthy, and Jonah Heim has been a revelation. He has really resurrected his career. We've been calling him prime time Heim on the air, or clutch time Heim for what he's been doing. And then Joshua Kuroda-Grauer. And I think people here in Vegas would recognize that name because of what he's done for the Aviators this year. He's played great offensively and defensively. So on that side of the ball, I think they're in pretty good shape.
As we head into the All-Star break, 2 first-time All-Stars for the Athletics and Shea Langeliers and Nick Kurtz. How exciting is it for you to see the excitement in their eyes of getting that honor for the first time?
Well, we were there for their press conference the other day on Saturday in Sacramento, and if you think about Kurtz, his home is 1 hour, literally an hour from the ballpark in Philadelphia. So, and what a whirlwind for him. I mean, just over 2 years ago, he was playing in college at Wake Forest. And then he's the Rookie of the Year last year. Now he's an All-Star, and he's going to start the game. And Langeliers as well, I think he's been the best catcher in the American League this year. And the first time the A's have had a catcher start the game since Terry Steinbach back in 1989. So it is really great to see. They haven't had 2 All-Star position players start since the Hendersons, since Ricky and Dave in 1991. So kudos to them for sure.
Well, have a great second half. Thanks as always for joining us, Ken, and we will see you down the road this season.
Thank you, Kev. Always fun. Thanks.
The future of the Athletics is headed to Philadelphia. Major League Baseball announced the rosters for the 2026 All-Star Futures Game, and the A's will be well represented with 2 of the top prospects in all of baseball. Shortstop Leo DeVries and left-handed pitcher Jamie Arnold have both earned spots on the American League roster. A well-deserved honor for 2 players who have been driving the Midland Rockhounds all season long. DeVries, listed as the number 2 overall prospect by MLB Pipeline, has been a dynamic force at AA. The 19-year-old switch hitter continues to show why he is considered a franchise cornerstone. His presence at the plate is unmatched, with the ability to hit for power from both sides while remaining disciplined in the batter's box, and the athleticism to impact the game in every facet, from playing all around the infield to being a serious threat on the base path. El Mutante is the only player at AA with 10+ homers and 25+ steals this season. His recent hot stretch has only strengthened the belief that his big league debut may not be too far away. And on the mound, Jamie Arnold has been just as impressive. The 2025 11th overall pick has made a seamless transition to professional baseball, using his deceptive delivery and swing and a miss stuff to dominate Texas League hitters as he continues to build his resume as one of the top young southpaws in the minors, with 85 strikeouts in 80 innings and a whip of 1.56. For an athletics organization built around its next wave of talent, the Futures Game will provide a national stage for 2 players who look every bit like foundational pieces of the franchise's future.
Thank you, Mariah. After the break, I'm going one-on-one with JT Ginn, who's bringing some much-needed stability to the A's rotation.
Play ball, Las Vegas. This is Covering the Bases with the A's. Sponsored by Big Bully Turf.
On this week's Green and Gold Throwback, we're looking at a couple of staff aces on dynastic teams. These dudes or who you want on the mound when the game is on the line. In the late 80s, there was no pitcher in baseball more imposing and more durable than Dave Stewart. The man they called Smoke, born and raised in Oakland, came to the A's in the mid-30s, never having thrown 200 innings in a season. But in his first 4 seasons in Oakland, he averaged 265. Over that span, he also led the major leagues in wins, not including his stellar postseason performances. Stewart simply dominated when it mattered most, winning 2 AL Championship Series MVP awards and a World Series MVP for throwing 16 innings, only allowing 3 runs in a sweep of the Giants to win the A's 9th title in franchise history. He reminded some A's fans of another clutch performer about a decade before, Catfish Hunter. Jim, as he was also known, notched a win in about 3/4 of the games he started during the A's 3-year dynastic run of the 70s, winning a Cy Young Award for the three-peat champs of '74. During those playoff runs, Catfish went 7-1 with a stellar .224 ERA in the postseason. He was elected to the Baseball Hall of Fame, and to this day, he has by far more wins than any A's pitcher since the 1930s. By the way, Catfish was the first Hall of Fame player on our Green and Gold countdown so far. We're getting into the real legends of the game here. Our countdown continues next week.
The A's pitching staff certainly could use both of those guys. It has been a roller coaster ride of a season. Inconsistency has been the biggest issue, but JT Ginn has been one pitcher who's been pretty steady through the first half of the year.
Swing and a miss on the breaking ball, strike 3. Ginn has struck out 10, a new career high.
JT Ginn has been the A's most consistent pitcher in 2026 and has been an important part of the puzzle for the A's staying in playoff contention in the second half of the season. The bottom line is always winning, and Ginn loves the competition that comes with being a big league starter.
I think it's just going out there and trying to compete every day, going out there trying to win, playing winning baseball right now as a team, and I think we're just trying to go out there every day and keep that rolling.
Ginn has averaged going 6 innings in his starts this season and says it's critical to the A's success to have the starters log some innings.
That's the starter's job, is to get deep into the game as deep as possible and staying in it and giving your team a chance to win. I know the bullpen appreciates it every time a starter can go, past 6 innings there. So, yeah, just try to get into the game and get as deep as possible.
Payoff pitch, called strike 3.
Ginn has been in the big leagues for parts of 2 seasons and is still seeing some teams for the first time. He says that preparing for interleague series and batters that he's not as familiar with requires some more studying.
There's obviously the guys in the division you're more familiar with, so it takes a little less time going over the scout report because you face them a few times a year. But yeah, you think you just try to take a good look at them early on in the week, and yeah, there's a lot of new faces over there you never faced before. So yeah, you definitely have to look at it a little bit more.
Weak tapper, JT fields his position, bare hand, throw to first, and he got Ohtani.
Ginn was a 2nd-round pick of the Mets in 2020, and the A's traded for him in 2022. Although he never spent a full season in Las Vegas, Aviators manager Fran Reardon made an impact on him.
He's a great guy, obviously a great manager. He's been there for a long time and won a lot of games. Been around the game a long time. Learned a ton from him, but he's a great dude. He really cares, and I really enjoy my time playing for him.
Fastball, strike 3 call.
The focus now is straight ahead instead of the rearview mirror, and Ginn appears to be a key piece to the A's rotation going forward in Sacramento and in Las Vegas starting in 2028.
Play ball, Las Vegas. This is Covering the Bases with the A's. Sponsored by Big Bully Turf.
This is a great day for Las Vegas.
Las Vegas has proven itself to be a great sports town and a great host to professional franchises.
It's an epic moment for our 124-year-old franchise. 2028, we have opening day out here on the Las Vegas Strip. 3, 2, 1.
A's fans get priority access to purchase season tickets in Las Vegas for just $19.01. Now current A's season ticket members, Aviators season ticket holders, as well as Clark County residents who secure their spot on the priority access list will receive purchase priority ahead of the general fan. For more information, just head to athletics.com/Vegas. All right, time to look ahead to the final series before the All-Star break, as the A's will going to be in Chicago to take on the first-place White Sox. Yes, you heard me right, the first-place White Sox, who are keeping pace ahead of the Cleveland Guardians and Minnesota Twins in the AL Central. It's a 4:40 Pacific time start Friday night, followed by 2 day games over the weekend with 11:10 first pitches. So what's helped the White Sox turn things around this season? And after a few struggling years, well, they certainly aren't blowing anyone away offensively. Other than being a top 5 team in home runs, every other statistical category, the White Sox are really middle of the pack. Left fielder Sam Antonacci has been turning heads since his call-up to the big leagues in April. The rookie 5th in hitting in the big leagues right now with a .291 batting average. The big bat for the White Sox has been another rookie, Japanese sensation Munetaka Murakami. The first baseman slugged 20 home runs. He's in the chatter for the AL Rookie of the Year. Murakami has been on the IL with a hamstring strain. He's been rehabbing at AAA, but just the A's luck, he's eligible to come off in time for the A Series on Friday, and the White Sox have said that they want him to play before the All-Star break. After the White Sox series, the A's get a 4-day break for the All-Star festivities with, of course, both Shea Langeliers and Kurtz starting. They'll pick things up the following Friday at home as they host the Washington Nationals. That is a wrap for this week's edition of Covering the Bases with the A's. Next week, we'll be recapping all of the All-Star festivities. Thanks for joining us for this one, and go out and have a great baseball week ahead.